All right. Well, welcome everyone to this call. And my name is Michala Petersen, and I'm a pharmacist, mama, wife, health coach. I'm a homeschooling mom now of 4 kids. So the kids were very gracious that I'm grateful that I had to do this call, and they're riding their horses in the pasture this morning. So we'll see how afternoon school goes today. But anyway, I'm so thankful to be able to be I don't even think this is a training. This is like a life skill, right? So I'm happy to be sharing with you this morning. And Jake, thank you so much for that awesome introduction. Jake has helped
And
me
I
more.
forgot to record.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. It'll be shorter this way, shorter training. So that's good. Okay, so do you have your priority planning forms printed out? And if you don't, you can go to catherinelee.com and just it'll be the pop-up that you can fill in your email and hit submit and be able to get the priority planning form. I'm going to tell you my history with priority planning. Catherine Lee is my upline for Juice Plus, and I have been blessed to go to the ranch, Selah Ranch. If you don't know who Catherine Lee is, she does what we do with Juice Plus and has for over 20 years so that she can live her life's mission, which is rescuing women that have been trafficked. And so I've been able to go to her ranch 2 different times. The last time was blessed to be able to take my husband, Mark, who both of us were just greatly impacted, not only seeing the girls, but seeing the ranch and just understanding their mission more and wanting to be involved more. So one of the things that they do at the ranch to rehabilitate these girls is a personal development program called The Ultimate Source. And we all have had divine times in our lives where maybe we wake up and we have an idea that we really don't think was our own, probably. How many of you have had that happen to you in your life, right? Well, Catherine had a dream of this personal development course with the name of it, like everything was crystal clear. She lived by the beach at that time and went down to the beach and in 4 hours wrote the entire personal development course. And we have done it as a team. She gives amazing team discounts, and I don't have an Ultimate Source paper with me, but some of the different categories are balance and fulfillment, goals and organization. That's where we're going to talk about priority planning. That could be, the Ultimate Source could be a training in its own right. Adventure, joy, all of these different things. And her philosophy is if we check 3 life areas, LIFE, life areas every day, that is the ticket to a joy-filled life. So they have this amazing wall at the top of this huge staircase that is chalk. It's like a chalkboard grid, kind of like the priority planning, but the girls' names are written down one column and then the life areas across the top. And so every day they have to check off which life area they fulfilled. Nutrition and water, exercise is one, all of the things to be a healthy, well-rounded individual. So in goals and organization, there is a part of that that's called priority planning. And this is my stack of priority planning for the last 3 months, I think. And I just keep it right by my desk, right by my chair where I'm sitting. And then I usually do sit in my desk office every day. And so I'm checking things off as I go. If that's not you though, and you want to put it on the refrigerator in the kitchen or on the counter in the kitchen or by your bedside, whatever you need to do, you can do that, but have it where you can reference it frequently. So we're just going to go through my priority planning sheet. And I'm going to just show you how I do it. Now, your titles across the top can be anything. It doesn't have to be what mine are. These are just the 7 things that are important in my life at this particular time. Okay, so is it okay if I just go through mine with you? Is that okay?
Yeah. Would you like me to share the screen of the priority planning so we know what that looks like? Which one is it? Is it show me which one it was again, because there was a couple of them.
It's just priority planning.
Okay. Okay. 1 second. I'll pull that up here for y'all. That one?
Yep. Okay, so in the categories across the top, I have the first slot being God, because I feel like I can't pour from an empty cup, and that's how I get fulfilled. So do you want me to go through my whole thing, or do you want me to just focus on the Juice Plus business, Jake?
I think round it out Whatever you
Okay.
feel like is good.
And just so I know, how much time do I have? Is it till 10:30?
Yeah, thereabouts. We're
Okay.
not like strict on that. So, and we
Okay.
started late. We started late, so no worries.
Okay. So perfect. So my first category is God. Now, this does not have to be complex. This does not mean that I'm like in the Word for an hour a day. I would love to be, but I'm not. But I do have there's a app called Through the Word, and I was one of those that, like my journey in this department began, 25 years ago. But still, it's kind of hard to understand the Bible, and I always wanted to get. And it goes chapter by chapter of each book of the Bible. And so right now I'm in the end times because I feel like that's what we need to know about right now. So anyway, I do a chapter of that a day. It takes less than 12 minutes every day. So I am like a box checker. Anyone add something to their list to be able to check it off the list? So I make 7 little boxes in that little box. I'm doing a Bible truths curriculum with my kids. I want to journal once a week, and this could be a whole training on its own too. I have always wanted to be one of those people that can just pour my guts out onto the page. And what it ends up sounding like is, today was a good day. Like it's so cheesy and so corny, and I hate it. And so at the first of the year, I have a great friend. This is a little nugget too. I prayed this gal into my life. A year ago, I had told Michelle Pitto that I wanted somebody in my life that would be at my church, that would be my age, but I wanted her to be a blogger, an author, an influencer that already had 1,000 Instagram followers. I mean, I was so specific. Maybe I've shared this story before, but this lady was with her. Turns out she has contracts with Crosswalk to write devotions. She's had a contract with MOPS. She has had a contract with Focus on the Family. She's written 3 devotionals. She has a new Bible study out. So manifest the people that you want to come into your team, because I could not actually believe it. And now, ironically enough, it gets better with her. She actually loves Tuesday margaritas as well. So not only is she like so devout in her faith, she'll rock a margarita on a Tuesday afternoon with me. So the best of both worlds, right? We call it communion. Anyway, okay, so SOAP journaling, SOAP. This is not part of priority planning, but S is scripture. And so you pick a scripture. She has a bold women of faith. There's 30 days, 30 scriptures. You physically write out the scripture. O is observation. What words are repetitive? What do you need to, what are you observing that's going on in the scripture that you're reading? A is application. How are you going to apply that to your own life? And then P is prayer, and you actually write out a prayer. And what's cool about this is I had been doing this for about a month when my dad was terribly sick, walked into the ER with a blood pressure of 52/30. Completely not convinced he didn't have COVID. He ended up with blood clots and, a dry, hacky cough that lasted 5 weeks, completely weak, pneumonia, all of that stuff. But anyway, I journaled every single day, the SOAP method, that he was in the ICU and he was in the hospital. And what a gift to be able to give your kids or your loved ones, because not only in the application part, they saw what was going on, from a bird's eye view in my life at that time, but through the prayer, they were able to see how I was able to glorify something bigger than myself throughout that trial. So if you haven't, I can make you a Voxer message or whatever if you want more detail on it, but it's awesome. So I want to journal right now. It's just that I'm sick of seeing 7 days and never getting to it. So I'm starting with 1 box this week. And then I want daily war room time. I feel like my business flourishes the most when I have that quiet time every day, whether that's at the beginning of the day, before my feet hit the ground, or at the end of the day, preparing for the next day. So that's my God column. The next column would be mama time. And I know this is a hard one for us, but I want to work out 3 times a week. I actually want to get up in the morning. We're homeschooling. I have 4 kids that love to sleep in, 8:30 is the time that they would like to get up. And I want to get an hour and a half worth of work done, or an hour and a half worth of something done. I want to get up in the morning, which is sometimes hard when your kids sleep in. I'm reading Secrets of Six-Figure Women right now, which is an amazing book. According to Wendy Campbell, it's as beneficial, if not more beneficial, as the entire Brene Brown leadership course. So we're doing a book club study with that on our team. And then I want to create this game for the family. So that's my priority list. And then obviously I have my husband. And I'll tell you what priority planning has done for our life and for our family is every Sunday night without fail for, this stack of papers. I could go back through and see how many weeks that's been. We sit down as a family to supper on Sunday nights, and it's like pizza and priority planning. I always make homemade pizza on Sunday nights, and that's our tradition. We're walking one of our friends through kind of a rough time right now. He's going through a divorce. And he even is like, oh, pizza and priority planning. I'll be there at 7 because he wants the accountability too. He sees the value in it. So that's where I have found that with our Juice Plus business, with our marriage, with our kids, this priority planning has revolutionized our family and created a peace and tranquility in our home that we have not had before. And the reason is we're all on the same page. So for instance, Mark, my husband, if his priorities that he told me last night at the supper table are to get some new waters put in for the cattle, get the chickens in the new chicken coop, so finish that. He wants to honor mama with a date night. That's a priority to him, which is awesome, that he told me in front of the kids. So now when the week gets crazy, it's like, hey, Dad, remember your priority was to take mom on a date. There's accountability there, even from a young age. The kids feel respected and heard. And what a better way, there's no better way than to start off the week. He wants to work out 3 times. It's been a cattle working week. And so, what happens and what's said when you're working cattle is supposedly like Vegas. So he and the kids decided that he would try to limit his swearing this week. I'm just being real with you, right? Like, we're real, we're authentic, and that's hopefully what people appreciate. He needs to check cows and haul sand to the pen. So what this does for me is when now all of a sudden he says, oh, I've got to get this done, I can say like, well, is that a priority this week, do you think? Do you want me to add that to the list? Is my normal sentence, rather than saying like, that's not a priority, you can't do that this week. I just say, oh, do you want me to add that to the list, And then he'll say yes, or then he'll say like, oh, take that off. That really wasn't a priority this week. I need to do this instead, right? So with the kids, super simple. We're trying to incorporate more fun into our lives, especially with homeschooling. We tend to get in the rut of not leaving the ranch much. And so I want them to feel like what they wanted to do, we did within reason. Now, nobody said like, we want to take a trip to Texas or anything like that. That probably wouldn't make the cut. But they want to ride their horses. They want to rope. One of them wants to keep their room clean so they can get a bridle. They're trying to earn that. Yeah, Madden wants to learn to read, so no pressure this week, folks. I'll let you know how that goes all in one week. That's her priority. They want to do a gymnastics night. They want to go to the gym as a family. So, sometimes we run out of nights, but most times we get it done. So now let's focus on my column for the Juice Plus business, okay? Because I think this is super important. So we are at the end of the month, which means by Friday, paychecks will be released. PVC reports will be emailed tonight, so those can be printed off. That's my number one priority, because mapping the PVC report drives my month. So I know that, this is my list from last month, for instance. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe you don't need to share the screen anymore, Jake. So this is my list from last month's PVC report. These are my people. We did the PVC mapping maybe it was even a month ago, I don't know, 2 months ago, something like that. And so these are my workers. These are my people that are promoting. These are my people that the arrows were going down for qualification, or maybe they're going up, that they're going to be close to qualified. And so I want to gauge my month, and I want to put the energy into the people that need the energy put into, because we only have so many hours in the day. So, we have those people sometimes on our team that want coaching calls, but yet they're not on my list of workers. I need to prioritize my time, especially with homeschooling kids. So I don't mean that to sound harsh at all, but if you don't map your PVC report, you don't know, you don't have a gauge of your team in that month and where to go from there. So that's one thing that I need to do. I need to map the PVC report. I need to do drawings. Now this is up at the top, this is number 2 priority, because this is a weakness of mine, and you're probably all going to be shocked by this, but that's okay. Authenticity is a virtue, right? I have customer care and referrals, because I think, although I haven't had many cancellations during this COVID time is a commodity to me, a priceless commodity, especially right now. And what I'm finding when I do customer care is people want to talk on the phone way longer than they ever have. They are lonely, especially my average customer age is 64 years old. And not that that's bad, but I have got like 293-year-old, I have older people that are on Juice Plus. Thank God they see the value, but they're lonely. So what used to be like a quick customer care call, your order is shipping, now turns into an hour call. So I really need to like carve out the time to do that. And I have written on my priority list that I'm going to ask everyone for referrals, because that's something that is so easy to do. In one simple sentence, I am so glad that you have chosen to strengthen your immune system with Juice Plus. Who else in your world do you know, or who do you know in your world that is worried about their health right now? One sentence. Who do you know that's worried about their health right now? I would love to help them too. Super simple, easy way to bring people into your business. I mean, the 80-year-olds are not going to want to join the business, right? But they do want to help their friends. And so sometimes I'll send them a little something for referring somebody, just a little something in the mail, nothing big. I might tell them about it, like this month I'm offering X, Y, or Z. If you refer a customer, you can make it your own. Send them some complete packets, send them some gummy pouches, little single serves. Make it your own. I am a big fan of Teamsy. And so I want to hit Teamsy 100% 4 days out of the week. That has been on my list every single week. And sometimes I don't hit it. Sometimes 100% is hard when you don't leave the ranch, because I'm supposed to add, at least one brand new person every day. And I want to add quality people. So I'm going to sacrifice the 100% on Teamsy versus just going out and snagging a new Facebook friend so I can add it, right? I don't add it to Teamsy if it's not someone that I'm going to have a back and forth text message with when I add them as a new friend. Does that make sense? Because we can all fool Teamsy, right? I've been guilty of this before. We have Teamsy competitions the last 3 months we have. And so I can fill up my prospects sending somebody happy birthday messages, right? We all can do that. I've gotten one rep off of a happy birthday message that messaged me back and said, hey, you look so healthy. What do you and your family do nutritionally? But that's one time in 6 years that I've sent a happy birthday message and gotten that type of response back. So we need to be reaching out to prospects that are going to yield the good conversations, not just reaching out on their birthday because everyone else is also, Okay, so Teamsy 4 days a week. I have a South Dakota event tomorrow night that I'm going to drive up and do. Monday night, and my Wendy Campbell accountability call is a big rock. So that's basically what these priorities are the big rocks that at the end of the week, you don't want to be held accountable to your family, to your group, to whoever, and say, yeah, I really didn't do any of these priorities this week because they weren't a priority. And like Mark and I had this discussion last night because I said, well, you don't have checking cows on there. And he's like, well, that's a given. I have to check cows every week. That's my job. I'm like, no, if your calendar will show you where you devote your time. And if it's not on there, we need to examine it, right? Because it might not be as big of a priority as you want it to be. We have a simple solutions, a different perspective that Jake so graciously did the miracle work in the PowerPoint so that people don't even know that it's not a corporate sponsored presentation, by the way. So we do use that as a weekly event. I had heard that a lot of other teams are using it for the weekly event. My team caught wind of it and was like, hello, why are we not doing this? Which they're right. So anyway, we're doing that now. I need to invite to that. And then what was the other thing that I am not great at social media. So I have that as a box, social media. And then I have 3 boxes. I want to put out 3 value add posts every week. I want to get better at stories to build trust. I don't want it to just be Juice Plus stuff in my stories. So that means I need to think about it a little bit and add some things. And then this is one thing that you need to add to your, I'm telling you what to do here. I'm not voluntolding you. I'm telling you what to do. Put brand new customer with a box. Okay, so I'm going to do a little experiment here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That month, that week, I got 2 customers. 7 weeks. So for 7 weeks, I have consistently put new customer, and for 7 weeks, I have consistently got a new customer. Now, it's not a brand new customer always. That's maybe a canceled person that I reached out to that they've come back. The majority of them, though, have come to me. And we know that what you write down is so powerful. I'm slow, and it took me 5 weeks to realize that there are 4 weeks in a month. So if I get a new customer every week, I'm not hitting a 5-1 like I want to, or I'm not getting 5 new customers, which is how we built to NMD in 17 months without fail until almost a year after we hit National Marketing Director. I was getting 5 new customers every month, turning somebody into a rep typically. You know, the 5-1 didn't happen every month, but 5 new customers consistently did happen every month. And you can imagine how your pool then of these raving fan customers, if you take good care of them, turn into reps if you get 5 new customers a month. So then I was like, well, duh, 1 week at least I need to put 2 new customers. And what do you think happened the week that I put 2 new customers? I got 2 new customers. Now that, granted, they weren't quad customers. It was an omega and a complete, but still two people that hadn't had Juice Plus in their body before. It's a win. I'll take it. So now I've started putting new rep on there too. And that hasn't been as consistent. That hasn't been as consistently successful as the other. But then the bottom line is touch your business. If it's on your priority planning sheet, even if it's calling a customer a day, or I have a list of, I don't know where it is. Oh yeah, right here. This will shock you too. This is my list of canceled customers. Can you see that? And so I'm slow. I mean, it's long, right? We all have them. And so I'm slowly getting through that because I'm calling those people and I'm seeing how they're surviving the COVID-cation, and I'm asking them how their health is and what they're doing to better their immune system nutritionally. And I'm caring about them. And of the people that I've called or physically written notes to, I've gotten 4 customers that returned that had been off Juice Plus for like 2 years or more. So that's something that you can do to fill the cup. Now, my probably ulterior motive is to get them back on Juice Plus, but that's not what I lead with. You know, I just lead with caring about them. I really miss talking to you every 4 months. How the heck are you? How are your grandkids? How are, you know, just caring about them. And then see where it goes. But to me, it's a win-win because they know that I wasn't out for the sale, that I still care about them. And if they do choose to get their immune systems healthier again with Juice Plus, then that's a win. I also have a homeschool column. When I was taking a homeopathy course, that's what was occupied by that column. You can make that column whatever you want. And then my last column is family and friends. We can get so wrapped up in the do and the busyness of the, you know, all the things that are going on that we need to prioritize relationships, especially right now. So some of those have been like, it was our friend's birthday, so we wanted to have a little birthday celebration for him. We go to the lake almost every weekend as a family. My kids decided that they didn't want to do a family trip this year and instead take in as many rodeos, bull ridings, and bullfights as humanly possible. So I think a trip would have been cheaper actually, but we have done like 15 rodeos or bullfights or whatever in the last, 2 months, I think. So anyway, that's a priority because I want them to see that family time and friends and pouring into people and play dates or whatever that looks like, that I want them to take those skills with them, right? I want them to be able to have this chart memorized from 6, 8, 10, and 12 and go, okay, this is how we figure out what's important to us this week. So I think that's it. That's what my priority planning looks like. It's awesome because so like last night, I took these 2 charts to the table. This one was empty. This one was last week. You can see most of the boxes were checked. And so then we do an accountability call. And so, at the table I said, Micah, you wanted to do, you wanted to ride your horse, you wanted to read in your room more. Did you do that? Yep, I did that, Mom. Okay, Mark, you wanted to work out 3 times a week. How many times did you work out last week? He worked out 3 times last week. So it's like an accountability check, and then we roll, some of the stuff doesn't get done every week. So then we roll it to the next week. Or sometimes it gets rolled for 5 weeks, and then by 5 weeks, it's like, okay, this clearly is not a priority. Take it off the list, Okay, any questions? That was a lot of talking. Jake, you're muted. Do you want to be?
I know. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
That was incredible. I'm so glad that we had you just go ahead and roll with, the whole family thing. And because I think that that's something that people have difficulty marrying their Juice Plus business with their life. And you just showed us how to seamlessly do that. And you've got a seriously full plate. So I think what this does is it really demonstrates that if you can do this, homeschooling 4 kids with all that you've got on your plate, everybody can do this, right? Jen, did you have
Absolutely. And the really neat thing about it is, if I have calls prioritized, or if I have, we all can get the kiddos that are saying like, will you get off your phone? I mean, I've heard that a lot. Will you get off Voxer? Will you get off whatever? And I can say, guys, we did all of these things that were your priorities. We are able to do this because of our Juice Plus business. If I wouldn't be doing this right now, I would have to go back to the pharmacy. So look, Team Z that I'm working on right now is one of my top priorities. So I have to do that so that I can homeschool you, so that we can pay the bills, so that we can go to the rodeos. And it just, I love Dave Ramsey and how the budget is the bad guy, like when somebody asks something, it's like, oh, sorry, not in our budget. And you can use that. So when the kids say like, can we do this or can we do this? I can say, oh, that wasn't a priority this week, but let's add that to the list next week. And the priority planning is the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy because they put their priorities down for the week and now we stick to it. I write it in Sharpie, right? Somebody wanted the sheet up close. So if you put me on speaker view on your own, you can take a picture of this if you want. Can you see that?
Back it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, and then move it over to your right. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. And Jennifer, did you have a question? Oh, did you get it?
No.
Okay.
Why don't
Sorry.
you put it up there, then say something so that you come in.
Oh, got it. I'm sorry. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah, you need to pull it.
Tell me when
Pull it back just a bit. There you go.
Okay.
Now say, there you go.
I can also take a screenshot of it and put it in the Voxer, send it to Jake.
That would be good.
Can you still see it?
Got it. I got it. I can send it out in our Voxer chat. No problem.
Okay, perfect. That's good.
Thank you.
Well, the thing that I was going to say that I think was exactly what Jake said is I just love how much you're showing you have such a full life for your family along with your Juice Plus business. I think the stinking thinking that I've told myself for so many years, I say this phrase in my brain, I don't like to be busy. I don't like to be busy. Do you feel like it was like that while you were building the NMD? Or slightly different?
Yeah, that's good. Busy people do the best in this business. So that's the mantra that you need to change rather than I don't like to be busy. It's busy people do the best. Busy people do the best. Busy people do the best. That's the reprogram that needs to happen there, in my opinion. We built to QNMD with me working 3 days a week at the pharmacy. That was exactly a year when we'd signed on with Juice Plus. So I did not know any other way. I mean, my kids were 8 months, 2, 4, and 5 when we started with Juice Plus. I was still nursing, like all the things. So I didn't know anything different than being busy and building a business. So what I found last year with all 4 of my kids in school was all of a sudden I had all this idle time. And I filled my time, but it was not activity stuff. Mm-hmm. And I personally am a person that flounders in silence. So I was worried when the kids came home, and I was like, oh my gosh, it took me till March to find a rhythm. I finally found a rhythm. Now I've got 4 kids that I'm doing 4 different Zoom calls for 4 different curriculums for, all the things. And what I found was that, if you have 8 hours to get a project done, it'll take you 8 hours. If you have 3 hours to get that same project done, I mean, we've all experienced that when you're like in the flow cleaning your house, right? I do my best cleaning or my best pickup when somebody's driving in my 1/8 of a mile driveway. Like I can run around like crazy and get it done where I may have put it off all day. So that's the same thing that's happened to me now again with Juice Plus, is like I craved the busyness. I craved the pressure of like, this is the time frame I have to do it. If I don't get Teamsy done in this time frame, it's not going to happen today. So I thrive under pressure, I guess. So I think it's just a mindset shift though of these are the hours that I have and this is what I have to do. So now I have my whole schedule blocked out every morning from 9 to noon. Nobody can schedule calls or anything like that typically. And that's like our homeschool zone. We're done with homeschooling by noon. And then I'm in the office, for 3 hours in the afternoon. Now, was I ever in the office for 3 consecutive hours before? No, I never was. I would, be on the go and doing different things. But now I'm like, I have the goggles on because I have goals that are clearer than ever before. So anyway, did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You can do it. You can do it in the stolen moments. And I tell everyone that, you need to download Voxer, even if you're just a friend of mine, because nobody wants to hear 4 screaming kids in the background while I'm driving down the road or while, whatever we're doing. But I can make a kick butt message on the way to the washing machine. And that's how I built my whole business, was like just those little stolen moments, those potty breaks at the drugstore or whatever, So you can do it. It's just a reframing.
Okay, this is just to attest that she can make some crazy good messages. She was working cows one day, messaging me, voxing me back and forth. And between Voxer, she broke her leg.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the last person I voxed, and
Yeah.
I was irritated, and I was like, I'm going out to check these stupid calves again. Cause anyway.
Yeah.
And then I
think you were actually in the. I think you were out there. I think you were actually in the field with the cows, or in the corral with the cows when you were out there. Yeah, talking to me. So yeah, you can do this business absolutely in stolen moments. But if you can buy out time, it makes it even better, because then you're focused.
But that's where I think mapping the PVC report, just having some good action steps as far as, because we've all been in those floundering moments. I think I've said floundering more this call than I ever have before. But anyway, we've all had those moments where it's like, where do I go? What do I do? And I don't know if you heard an awesome 12-minute message by Ashley Hudson. Jake, I'll pass that along to you, and you can forward it if you want. But she talks about, even getting into management mode, no matter what phase of the business that you're in, and how easy that is to do. And, Teamsy aside or not, I happen to love Teamsy. Maybe that's not you. Maybe you don't want to spend $20 a month to have all your, I mean, I can make a very compelling argument, but to have everything in one place so you never lose a follow-up, maybe that, maybe that's not a priority, and that's okay. I built my business with the DMO, the 2x2x2x2, 2 new prospects, follow up with 2 customers, follow up with 2 reps, follow up with 2 prospects from the day before or the week before or whatever. And I carried that sheet with me everywhere I went. And so that's on the Freedom Revolution. It all goes back to that daily method of operation, creating the habits, making it a priority, and making it happen. And somebody asked, I'm looking at the Voxer chats, how many sheets are you using each week? 1 sheet. This is it. This is my sheet for the week. This is my sheet for last week. That's it. So I could take that with me. I could take a picture of it, but I make a habit of coming into the office every day, so I don't need to.
She does have another one on there. She's got 2 that has a project. So if you're working on a specific project, like let's say that you're doing a training for our team,
right.
Then you could use the project sheet to actually prioritize those steps.
That was a lifesaver. I'd never planned a retreat before, and we were craving some team bonding time. And we were headed to say La Ranch in July with actually Kristen Handquist's team. They didn't have enough people to go, and so I said, oh my gosh, we'll go. I invited ourselves along after I did the priority planning training for their team, ironically enough. Anyway, and so then we didn't end up going, so we ended up having a processed food protest out here. And that, by the way, you can get away with anything if you call it a protest. There are no questions asked, right, Bobby? So ours was a processed food protest. We had a 2-night retreat. 19 people spent the night one night, 14 the next night. We had 35 to 40 people here during the day. And it was so fun, but I used that project planning because I knew there were big rocks, you know, like there were things I needed to think about: sleeping arrangements, food, swag bags, trainings, you know, making sure everyone was invited. And so then those were my columns. And then it made it so easy to delegate because it was like, hey, do you want to take on food? Figure that out. Do a sign up genius. You know, what are we doing for food? Hey, help me out with swag bags. Send me links to stuff that you think we should order. You know, so it was really, that was the first time I'd ever done a project planning like that.
And did you feel like it went smoother? Because I do a lot of, I do so much planning that would be.
Yeah, and it made it so much more stress-free because if I thought of it, I just put it on the project planning sheet, and then I didn't forget any of those details, you know, and I think it went off. I mean, it was great. So did somebody else have another question?
I didn't see one on the chat. Nope.
Bobby, do you?
No, I just want to tell a little joke about your protest thing.
Oh,
I don't know if anybody's heard, but churches in California are getting come down really hard on for having Sunday morning services. So I did hear the other day they're no longer having Sunday morning services. They're having Sunday morning protests.
yeah. Yep, I heard that too. That's brilliant.
You can protest with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people and blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. We
You
went way over, but hopefully, do you feel, was I frozen?
Yeah, you keep freezing. You're good
Dang.
now. You're good.
Do
You're
you
good
see
now.
how this could help your business though? Do you see how like a simple, and you know, in the beginning, it might have taken me longer. You know, maybe we allot, after our team call on Monday nights, we allot a half hour for anyone that wants to stay on and do their priority planning. I like to do it before Monday night because I want to hit the ground running Monday. I don't want to lose that day. But now, I mean, honestly, with Mark, 4 kids, and our buddy that eats supper with us every Sunday night, it's done in 10 minutes. It's like, okay, what's your priority? They know to list them off. You know, we're doing the check-in, and 10 minutes to make your week so much smoother, so much less stress, and hopefully more fun, because it's hard sometimes when you're in the rut doing the do to, you know, prioritize fun. And so that's what I love, is that we always have a family game. So, you know, somebody wants to do a family game night or a family something or other night, and we don't want to let our kids down by not having them check that box. So it motivates us, like, okay, that was your priority this week, let's make it happen. So,
And I love that, because then they feel like they get some say in what's going on in your family, not just
yes.
parents. And it's not the activity that you've got to get to that is prioritizing. They get to say, okay, these are the things that I want. And
Yeah.
you guys make it a priority. I think, wow, how empowering is that? That is fantastic.
It has drastically reduced, because I have been priority planning since February consistently. Every single week, I have been doing it. It has just been since June, though, that we have involved the kids. And, you know, a lot of people in our world were like, our kids need to go back to school. They are fighting like crazy. And I'm like, gosh, what is different? Our kids used to have, and it's not like they're kids. It's not like they don't have skirmishes here and there, but it is because they are focusing on their priorities. And I read a book one time that it talked about feeding your kids' meter. And, you know, like if you're on a, you know, if you have calls throughout the day, they just need that 15-second squeeze, or bring me a book and I'll feed your meter a little bit so that I can go do this uninterrupted. And their meters are fed because they feel respected, they feel heard. There has not been a week that I can remember, I'm just looking back at them now, that they have had a priority that we have purposely not fulfilled. Maybe there's been one here and there that the week got away from us, or we ended up doing something we didn't expect to do that was fun instead. But for the most part, if it's their priority, we make it happen. And most of the time it's simple, like ride my horse, rope off my horse, you know, clean out the chicken coop, whatever it is, they're simple things. And that's the thing also, is that we really encourage them not to just always have fun things that are priorities. So, because that's not life, right? I mean, we're adults, we always have things. That was their kind of not fun priority last week, to make our ranch better. And that was cleaning out the chicken coop, which was nasty. And it took all four of them, you know, like an hour and a half to do. And anyway, but they did it and they felt accomplished. And that was the first thing they said when they came inside was, Mom, check that off the priority planning. Last night, some friends of ours came out and said, how is homeschooling going? And my 6-year-old said, good, we have priorities and we get them done. So, I mean, 6, you know, like that's an awesome tool to teach your kids, right? Super simple, and it'll be awesome family bonding too.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Does anybody else have any questions or anything to say?
And
No?
if you're not a parent, you can still do this with your grandkids, you know? Maybe you can ask your grandkid, what's a priority for you this week? Maybe it's FaceTiming, or maybe it's they want to go for ice cream, or something that you could do to lessen the burden on the parents also, you know? My mom has gotten involved in that. Well, what's your priority for me this week, kids? And they say, well, we want to come to your house and we want to eat peanut clusters or whatever, you know? So don't feel like if you don't have little kids at home, you can't do this successfully because you don't have all the columns filled. You don't have to fill all the columns if that's not what's important to you. But I bet once you, if you're like me, once you categorize these columns and once you see how much you can actually knock out in a week, pretty soon your columns are going to get full also, you know, because we all have that helper's high. We all have the food bank that could use an hour a week of volunteering, or, you know, somebody that is shut in that could use a meal. Maybe that's, you know, maybe you have a give back column. I would love to add an 8th column where I teach the kids too to give back. Like, how are we serving this week? What's our priority to serve?
Yeah.
I'm writing that one down. I love that. Love it.
I just like to thank you, Michala, for this priority, because I'm trying to sell my house, trying to get my Juice Plus going with the accountability and coaching group, and I'm trying to get my mom set up for hip surgery. So by kind of putting these into those columns and just figuring out those blocks of time that I'll be able to do my Juice Plus business is going to probably keep me on track more so than I've ever been able to, because I get going and then life happens and I don't get my attention stayed focused on Juice Plus. But with this sheet here, I think I will very easily stay on track much better than any other time before.
Yeah, that is awesome. Oh, so you guys are going to have to fill me in, because I want to know, it takes about 6 weeks to establish a good routine. And so you're going to have stuff that you put on there that you'll realize throughout the course of doing it every week, maybe that wasn't a priority. That probably shouldn't have made the list, you know? But I want to know 2 months down the road what you guys think, and how your paychecks have grown, and how your Juice Plus business has grown, and how your confidence in your Juice Plus business has grown, even just touching your business more times a week than you did. Because I tell you what, if I fill in, you know, 5 boxes that I'm going to touch my Juice Plus business Monday through Friday, even if it's Friday night at 9 p.m., I'm not going to not check that box, right? So I'm going to sit down because I'm accountable to myself, but I also told my family I was going to do it. So, you know, last night I got busted on that because I was holding them all accountable. And then they said, well, Mom, read your columns. You know, what did you do? And I had to say, like, I didn't journal at all last week. It was on there 3 times last week. So maybe we need to scale that goal back then, or maybe we need to soup it up. If, you know, working out 3 times was easy, let's go for 4, you know, so I love that it's just you know, it can be fluid week to week. It doesn't have to be set in stone. You know, a lot of my things in my Juice Plus business are the same week to week, but everywhere else is different typically.
Wonderful. Well, for those of you who are doing the coaching accountability, I encourage you to make that one of your columns, because that's going to be a priority. We've all committed to that, and I'm super, super excited about what's going to come out of that. So if anybody
One
else,
thing that
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. One thing that I just thought about in your Juice Plus column, maybe you don't have the reps to reach out to or the customers to reach out to, maybe you're just very new in this business. You still can put on your priority list, watch 2 healthy living videos a week, or watch 1 video every day from the Freedom Revolution, or go to the Freedom Revolution and familiarize yourself with the Getting Started guide, because I think that is an insecurity that I've found on our team especially, is that, people are maybe not apt to share the business. Maybe that's a priority. Maybe you're going to, maybe one of the boxes should be share the business with at least 3 new people this week, because whatever you write down, you're going to accomplish. But especially with not really, on our team, we overcame this hurdle because people would be like, well, I don't even know where to start. It's been so long since, one gal said this to me, it's been so long since I've started a new rep, everything's changed. Where do I go? What do I do? So then that's where you need to prioritize. You can't lead somebody down a road you haven't been. So print out the Getting Started guide, go through the Getting Started guide. A month ago, one of my priority plan every week was fast track myself to QSC. If I haven't done it, how am I going to expect to mentor people into doing it? And what a great thing. I mean, honestly, if you're getting 5 new customers a month, you're going to fast track yourself to QSC. So I want to be the example that I'm saying that they need to be, so if you want more ideas for how to fill that up, Jake, you have a ton of ideas for how to fill up your Juice Plus column. But there are so many good things, and maybe they don't look like activities on paper, but building your belief in yourself, building your belief in the product, building your belief in the industry, building your belief in, everything that goes into this is only going to make your paycheck soar.
Awesome.
As in fly, not soar as in ouch.
I think we saw the right soar.
Okay, good. Yeah, good.
Oh my gosh, this is what a gift you've been, Michala, as you always are. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking me. I love talking about this.
Oh, this has just been, I just feel, I wish I would have had this last week when I was trying to prepare for those coaching groups. So, but that's okay. I am really stoked, and I hope that everybody else is. And I hope that you all take this information and run with it, roll with it. Gosh, to think of having less stress in life, doesn't that just make you feel good? Yeah, I love that. So thank you so much, Michala. I'm just so grateful for you and grateful for your friendship. And